Hello everyone, Chef Alex Cardinale here. Welcome to my very first question and answer in almost a decade. So this is my very first live cooking and baking Q&A live on video, and I'm excited to be hosting it. So Ask Chef Alex is going to be a monthly series, and it will air live right here on my YouTube channel and on my personal Facebook, Alex Cardinale. So I will answer all questions as long as they are cooking, baking, and food related. I will have cooking and baking topics, and at the end of each Ask Chef Alex Live, I will give out delicious recipes. So this is going to be a fun time for me to interact with other people who like to cook and like to bake as well. And if you want to learn how to cook and bake, then I am here to help you. All right. So tonight, this is my first time doing it in a while. So hopefully it'll be as successful as my podcast was way back in 2014 and 2015, the Chef Cardinale Cooking Show. But now I'm on a much better scale. I think video is much better than a podcast. So post any food or cooking, baking questions you have in the comments or the chat, and I will answer them live on the air. So if you have anything that you want to ask me about when it comes to food or cooking and baking, I will be happy to answer them for you. So at the end of this video, I will give out two awesome recipes. The first recipe, which is going to be an entree, is my chicken parmesan recipe, and my dessert recipe for tonight is going to be a chocolate whoopie pie, which is what I'm making for Halloween this year. So I'll give that out at the end of today's video. Now, I will also ask you, the audience, questions. If you're watching this live, you can comment your answers or post them in the chat. And if you're catching the replay of today's video, no worries. You can post your questions in the comments, and I will answer them in the next Chef Alex Asks You Live. All right? So here are my questions that I am asking you. What is your favorite entree and favorite dessert? Are you a good cook? How can you improve as a cook? And my last question, what would your date night meal consist of? Those are the three questions I am asking you. So post your answers in the chat or the comments, and I would like to see your answers. I'm intrigued to see what people's date night meals would consist of. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to answer the three questions that I'm asking you, and then hopefully I'll respond to your answers, and I'll answer your questions as well. So here we go. For me personally, what is your favorite entree and favorite dessert? So this is a tough question for me to answer because I have a lot of favorite entrees, but if I had to pick just one, it would be chicken parmesan. That was the first thing that I learned to cook, and it is an awesome Italian dish. I really like chicken parm, although chicken marsala is up there as well. Now, for my favorite dessert, hands down, it has to be a good quality homemade red velvet cake with cream cheese frosting. Cannoli would come in second place. I love cannolis. So those are my favorite entree and dessert. Are you a good cook? How can you improve as a cook? Well, I like to consider myself a good cook. Um, Everyone that eats my food loves it. For example, I recently hosted my very first dinner party a couple Sundays ago, and I made chicken parmesan and penne marinara, and I made a cannoli cake for dessert, and everybody loved all the food. So that tells me that I am a good cook. So, yes, I am a good cook. How can I improve as a cook? Well, I can definitely improve. I can learn how to make homemade breads. I can learn how to roll pizza dough. So, yes, I can improve as a cook. I just need to practice more and get better in the kitchen. And what would your date night meal consist of? For me, a good date night meal would be a meal that consists of higher end ingredients, higher quality ingredients, because it's a special night. So you want it to be very special. You don't want to serve comfort food on a date night. You want to serve food that is a treat. Because a date night, if it's a really good date night, you could lead to going to the bedroom. It could lead to forming a relationship. It could lead to marriage. So you want your date night meal to be very successful and be very awesome. So for me, appetizer would probably be fried calamari. Now, calamari is one of my favorite seafood. But if my person that I'm dating does not like fried calamari, I will keep the calamari for me. And for them, for an appetizer, I would make stuffed mushrooms. Stuffed mushrooms are very delicious and they're very elegant as well. And if they don't like mushrooms, then I would make bruschetta, which consists of Italian bread, a nice tomato, and fresh mozzarella cheese. So those are the appetizers that I personally would do. Now for the entree, I would do either prime rib or a good quality ribeye steak or a porterhouse steak or a T-bone steak. And I would do truffle macaroni and cheese as a side. I would also do broccolini as a side and lobster for my date because I can't have shellfish since I'm really allergic to shellfish, unfortunately. So that would be the entree that I would have. And for dessert, I would keep it simple but elegant. I would have a chocolate lava cake with a good quality homemade vanilla ice cream. I think that would be the perfect dessert to cap off our date night. And of course, I would serve it with a good quality red or white wine, and it would be an awesome night, and I would do it under candlelight. I think candlelight dinners are awesome. Alrighty, so there we go. Those are my answers to the questions that I am asking you. So now it's your turn. Ask me any cooking questions you have. Ask me any food questions you have. Ask me any baking questions you have, or answer my 3 questions. So while we wait for some live viewers, I would like to promote my outstanding baking video that I had last night. Last night I did my second baking video and I made a delicious cannoli poke cake. Now, I use Duncan Hines cake mix, which is outstanding. The best cake mix out there on the market. So go check out that recipe. Duncan Hines yellow cake mix. And then I made a delicious cannoli filling. It's on my YouTube channel, the legendary Alex Cardinale, and I look forward to seeing your reactions to that video, and hopefully you will cook or actually bake this delicious dessert that I made last night on my YouTube channel. So I know that today's video got off to a late start, but that's because of technical issues. So Facebook was down most of the day, so I couldn't get some of the video stuff that I needed done for today, so that took hours. I had to wait until Facebook got back up, and then StreamYard, I have the premium account on StreamYard, which allows me to have video clips. However, they have like a 200 gigabyte limit, upload limit. So a video that I'm going to play later, which is one of my topics, was way over that. So I had to compress it, and that took forever. So that's why I had such a late start tonight. But here we are today. I'm just awaiting some live questions and your answers to my questions. But right now, since we are on a wait, I am going to go ahead and do my first topic. And my first topic is pasta cooking tips. So right now, while I wait for some questions to come in and answers to my questions to come in, I'm going to tell you how to cook the perfect pasta right now. So every month on Ask Chef Alex Live, I am going to be giving you my tips and tricks for cooking and baking. I'm going to have two topics on each and every Ask Chef Alex Live. My first topic tonight is something that I know a lot about, and that is making the perfect pasta. I'm Italian, and I eat pasta like 5 to 7 times a week. As a matter of fact, after I'm done recording this video, I'm going to be making a box of pasta for lunch to serve with my leftover beef stroganoff from dinner last night. So I'm going to be making this right after I record this video. So this kind of pasta is cavatappi. Now cavatappi is commonly used in macaroni and cheese and lobster mac and cheese. It's a very, very neat pasta shape and one of my personal favorites. My other favorite types of pasta include rigatoni, ziti, penne, fettuccine, linguine, tortellini, ravioli, and potato gnocchi. So today I'm going to give you my tips for cooking the perfect pasta. Now, when it comes to cooking pasta, it is always better to make more than to run out of pasta. So a tip that I learned from my great-grandmother was to always overmake enough. So what I mean by that, let's say you're serving 4 people and they say a half a pound or a pound serves 4, go ahead and make 2 pounds, because you never know how much pasta your guests are going to eat. It's always best to make more than to run out when you're having a dinner party or anything like that. So that's like a tip that I would give to anybody who is making pasta. So always make more than enough so that you never run out. Because if you're having dinner at a dinner party and your entree is a pasta dish and you don't have enough for everybody and you have to go in the kitchen and make more, then the people that weren't able to get a dish are probably going to be upset. So always make more than enough. Alright, so let's get into my tips for making the perfect pasta. Chef Alex's perfect pasta tips. Use a big enough pan. During cooking, pasta can expand in volume up to 3 times its original size. So you'll want to be sure to leave enough room in your pot to cook the pasta. Use plenty of water. Fill your pot with at least 2 quarts of water for each half pound of pasta. This will help prevent your pasta from sticking together during cooking. Season your pasta water. After filling your pot with water, season generously with salt. Don't worry, it won't all soak into the pasta. It also won't bring your cooking water to a boil faster. Adding salt means more savory, flavorful results when the pasta is cooked. So I like to say a good handful of salt should go in the pasta water. But skip the oil. Do not add oil to your pasta water if you are making pasta to go with a sauce, like a marinara sauce or an Alfredo sauce or a pesto sauce. Don't add the oil. The only time you can add oil to pasta is if you're making pasta salad. So you may have heard that adding oil to your cooking water prevents the pasta from sticking during cooking. Is it true? Maybe, but it will do more harm than good. In fact, any oil clinging to your pasta once drained will prevent the sauce from absorbing properly. So skip the oil until after you drain it. Let the water come to a boil first. Wait until the water comes to a rapid, aggressive boil before adding your pasta. Throwing in the pasta too early when the water isn't hot enough can result in some sticky, gummy, gross noodles. Stir right away and every couple minutes. Give your pasta a good stir right after you add it to your pot to break up any initial clumps. Then stir every couple minutes to make sure it stays broken up and ensure even cooking. Don't rely solely on the cooking time on your pasta's package. There are many factors that play into how quickly pasta cooks. So test for doneness early and often. You want the pasta to feel firm and slightly resistant, almost springy, when you bite into it. If it sticks to your teeth while chewing, it's not ready. Oh, and resist the temptation to throw spaghetti at the wall to see if it will stick. As much fun as that may be, it doesn't tell you anything useful about the state of your noodles. Cook your pasta to just before al dente. Because pasta continues to cook after it is drained, remove it from the stovetop just before reaching the al dente stage. This is super important for thin pastas like angel hair and for pastas that will be baked with a sauce like lasagna. So I recommend cooking pasta to al dente. So 4 or 5 minutes is usually good, maybe 6 minutes as well. Reserve the pasta water. Reserve a cup of your pasta cooking water right before draining it. This way you'll have starchy cooking water within reach for adjusting the consistency of the pasta sauce once everything is mixed together. And finally, don't rinse your pasta after it's been drained. While it may seem logical, don't run cold water over your piping hot pasta. You'll lose delicious flavor and you'll lose the flavorful starches that will help sauces cling to it later. So those are my tips for making the perfect pasta, my favorite. Okay, so that's our first topic for tonight. Alrighty, those were some awesome pasta tips, I would say, right? Did you guys learn a lot about making the perfect pasta? I think so. Um, but pasta is pretty simple to cook. The only way you can mess up pasta is by overcooking it. And that is like a sin to Italian folks. So don't go past the al dente stage and do not overcook your pasta. All right. So right now I'm going to go ahead and give out my first recipe of the evening, and that is my delicious chicken parm. So I can tell you my chicken parm is legendary. It is delicious. Now, my family loves my chicken parm. My personal friends love my chicken parm. And I love my chicken parm. And I'm sure you're going to love my chicken parm as well. So it's real simple to make. You can make it as well. So for my chicken parm, I use boneless, skinless chicken breast. And you're going to want to pound them thin with a mallet or the back of a rolling pin. You're also going to need some Italian style seasoned breadcrumbs, or you can make your own breadcrumbs if you prefer. You're going to need 3 to 4 eggs for the egg wash. You're going to beat the eggs together with a little bit of milk or heavy cream, and you're going to need seasoned flour. You're going to take some all purpose flour, season it with salt and pepper, and then you're going to put some Parmesan cheese in the flour and your favorite seasoning. So, in a large saute pan or skillet, put some olive oil and a little knob of butter. You're going to take your pounded thinly chicken breast and you're going to dip it in the egg, then the flour, then back into the egg, and finally the breadcrumbs. Making sure there's a lot of breadcrumbs on there. You can push down firmly to help breadcrumbs stick, and then you can put that into the hot skillet. Make sure the skillet is warm and hot so that it cooks. Cook the chicken for about 3 minutes per side, then remove from the skillet onto a cookie sheet and put the chicken in a 350-degree oven for about 6 to 8 minutes, and that will ensure your chicken is fully cooked. Remove it from the oven and top it with marinara sauce. Now, you could use jarred marinara sauce. I like Prego, or you can make my homemade marinara sauce, which I'm going to give you in just a second. And then put your favorite cheese on. I like to keep it traditional, and I like to use mozzarella, Parmesan, and provolone. Those are my 3 cheeses that I use on chicken parm. Put that on there and pop the chicken parm into the oven for a 350 degrees for about 15 minutes or until the cheeses are nice and golden brown and they are completely melted. And you're going to serve this up with your favorite pasta, of course. Now, homemade marinara sauce, real simple. So my marinara sauce starts off with a can of whole tomatoes, a can of diced tomatoes, 1 can of tomato puree, and a half can of tomato paste. You're going to need 2 onions chopped and 2 cloves of garlic chopped. And seasoning, you can use your favorite seasoning, but I use Italian seasoning, salt and pepper, and oregano, fresh parsley, fresh basil, and I put some Parmesan cheese in my marinara sauce and a little bit of sugar to take care of the acid. So what I do is I saute the onions and garlic, then I add all the tomato products to the pan, and then I add the seasoning, the Parmesan cheese, and the sugar, and I let that cook for about an hour, and that's my homemade marinara sauce. My first recipe for this evening. All right, so I'm ready to answer some of your questions. So if you're watching this live, please feel free to comment any cooking or baking questions that you have. Maybe you're wanting to try a new recipe, but you have a question. I'll be happy to answer that. If you're catching a replay of today's episode, post your questions in the comments and I'll answer them next month. I'm also asking you 3 questions, so you can also answer my questions. The first question that I am asking you is, what is your favorite entree and favorite dessert? The second question I'm asking you is, are you a good cook? And how can you improve as a cook? And last but not least, what would your date night meal consist of? That question I'm really intrigued to see the answers from. So hopefully we'll get some answers and hopefully we'll get some questions as well. I'm looking at the comment section right now and also the chat section, and I don't see any questions just yet, but hopefully they will start coming in. So, what did you guys have for dinner tonight? For me personally, I just had leftovers. I cooked up some fresh pasta, and I had leftover beef stroganoff for dinner last night, or for tonight, I mean. Tomorrow's dinner, I'm actually going out to eat because tomorrow is my brother's birthday. My brother Dominic will be turning 24 years old tomorrow. So we'll be going out to a restaurant called Cheddar's to celebrate his birthday. And we will have fun there. And I can't wait to have a Cold Stone ice cream cake slice. He got a cookie dough ice cream cake, but I personally bought an ice cream cake that I want to try. It's called Oreo Cookies and Cream Extreme with birthday cake ice cream. One layer of the ice cream has chocolate Oreos, and the other layer has golden Oreos. And I am a huge fan of golden Oreos, and I'm a fan of Oreos in general. So I can't wait to try this cake. It's going to be awesome, I think. I think it's going to be a great cake. So that brings me to an idea. I should do a baking video of making things with Oreos. We'll do that in the future for sure. For sure. All right, I think right now, while I wait for some questions to come in, we're going to go to our second topic, and that's going to be the importance of food safety. Now, food safety is really important because I don't want anyone in your family to get foodborne illnesses or food poisoning, and I want you to keep your food safe. So let's find out how to keep your food safe and why food safety is really important. My second topic for my Ask Chef Alex Live Q&A tonight is kind of a boring topic, but it's a really important topic when you think about it. So today's topic that I'm going to talk about as my second topic is the importance of food safety. So what is food safety? Well, food safety in simplified terms refers to handling preparing, and storing food in the best way to reduce the risk individuals becoming sick from foodborne illness. Most people think that food safety is all about just the restaurants and the food industry. However, you can get foodborne illness and you can get sick from food in your own home kitchen. So tonight I'm going to help you prevent that by teaching you some important things to know about food safety. Now, food safety is a global concern that covers a variety of different areas of everyday life. The principles of food safety aim to prevent food from being contaminated and causing food poisoning. This is achieved through a variety of different avenues, some of which are properly cleaning and sanitizing all surfaces, equipment, and utensils. So that's making sure everything gets cleaned. Now, when you're cleaning and sanitizing cutting boards and surfaces, make sure we're washing them first with hot, soapy water and then disinfecting them with something like a disinfectant or a bleach. You don't have to do that for utensils, you just put them in the dishwasher. Maintaining a high level of personal hygiene, especially hand washing. Make sure we are washing our hands when we are touching raw meats, when we are touching produce, when we are touching cooked foods or ready-to-eat foods. So let's say, for example, I am making chicken parm. I'm going to wash my hands before I touch the raw chicken. I'm going to wash my hands after I bread and touch the raw chicken. And I'm going to wash my hands after I put the chicken into the frying pan. So that's simple. Another example is I want to eat salad and I'm going to prepare a salad. I'm going to wash my hands before I touch the romaine lettuce and after I touch the romaine lettuce. It's that simple, folks. Storing, chilling, and heating food correctly with regards to temperature, environment, and equipment. And we're going to talk about proper internal cooking temperature soon. Implementing effective pest control. My grandfather takes care of that for our house. We have a pest guy that comes out every once a month and he sprays stuff, so you never have to worry about that. Comprehending food allergies, food poisoning, and food intolerance, which is important when you're having dinner parties. Make sure you're aware of people's food allergies and stuff like that. Regardless of why you are handling food, whether as part of your job or cooking at home, it is essential to always apply the proper food safety principles. A number of potential food hazards exist in a food handling environment, many of which carry with them sincere consequences, or serious consequences, I mean. Many of them carry serious consequences. Keeping your food safe. Wash your hands. Wash your hands with warm water and soap for at least 20 seconds before and after handling food, and after using the bathroom, coughing or sneezing, taking out the trash, or handling pets. Clean surfaces often. Wash cutting boards, dishes, utensils, and countertops with a clean sponge and hot soapy water after preparing each food item. Surfaces and cutting boards should also be disinfected with a bleach solution after use and allowed to air dry. Wash fruits and vegetables. Wash fruits and vegetables under running water just before eating, cutting, or cooking. Even if you plan to peel the fruit or vegetable, it's still important to wash it because bacteria can spread from the outside to the inside as you cut or peel the product. Separate and don't cross-contaminate. Separate ready-to-eat foods such as fresh fruits and vegetables from raw meats, poultry, seafood, and eggs. Use separate cutting boards and utensils when preparing food will reduce the risk for cross-contamination. Thaw it right. Food should never be defrosted at room temperature. 3 safe ways to defrost food include in the refrigerator, under running cold water, or in the microwave. Food thawed in cold water or in the microwave should be cooked immediately. Cook food thoroughly. So you can't rely on color and texture alone to tell if your food is cooked and safe to eat. Use a food thermometer to ensure that your food has reached a safe minimal internal temperature. So poultry, like chicken, turkey, and other poultry is 165 degrees Fahrenheit. And next month I will give you all the internal cooking temperatures. That'll be my second topic for next month. All right, folks? Refrigerate properly. Perishable food should be refrigerated at or below 40 degrees Fahrenheit within 2 hours of purchase. Packaged raw meat should be stored on the bottom shelf to prevent the juices from dripping, which could contaminate other food. Know when to throw it out. When it starts smelling, throw it away. Handle leftovers safely. Cover leftovers, wrap them in airtight packing, or seal them in storage containers and refrigerate at 40 degrees Fahrenheit or below. When reheating leftovers, be sure they reach an internal temperature of 165 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, that is my lecture on food safety. It's very important that I had to take notes and I had to read the notes to all of you. So now you will stay safe in your kitchen. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and give you the proper internal cooking temperatures right now. When I recorded that video this morning, I did not have my chart in front of me, but I do now. So I'm going to go ahead and give you the proper cooking temperatures. Ground meats like ground beef, ground veal, ground lamb, ground pork, etc., 160 degrees Fahrenheit. Fresh beef, which includes steak, hamburgers, things like that, recommended minimum temperature of 145 degrees Fahrenheit. Medium is 160 degrees, and well done is 170 degrees Fahrenheit. Although personally, I do not recommend steaks to be well done because you'll be chewing leather. The best way to have a steak, especially a ribeye steak, a New York strip, a T-bone steak, is medium rare. I like a delicious medium rare steak. Poultry, like I said, is 165. All leftovers, including meats, are 165. Casseroles and baked pasta dishes are 165. Fish and shellfish, any type, is 145. Rabbit is 160. Ugh, who the heck eats rabbit? I don't. Ham, fresh raw, ham or shoulder, 160 degrees Fahrenheit. And to reheat pre-cooked ham is 140 degrees Fahrenheit. So those are your internal cooking temperatures. So I just gave you the proper internal cooking temperature. So now you know what temperature your food should read on your thermometer. All right, I think I'm going to give you my final recipe for the evening, and then I will wrap up this show. Hopefully, people that watch the replay of this episode will leave questions and answers in the comments, and I will answer them and read them in next month's question and answer. So, my second recipe, my dessert recipe for this month's Q&A is chocolate whoopie pies. And I'm going to make these on an episode of Baking with Alex Cardinale. I'm actually going to make them for my Halloween dinner party. So I'm very excited for that. So let me go get my recipe because unlike cooking entrees, baking is precise. You need to know exact measurements and things like that. So I got the recipe right now, and here it is. Chocolate whoopie pies. 2/3 of a cup of vegetable shortening, 2 cups of white sugar, 2 eggs, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 4 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 cup of unsweetened cocoa powder, 2 teaspoons of baking soda, and 2 cups of milk. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. To make the whoopie pies, beat your shortening with 2 cups of sugar in a large mixing bowl with an electric mixer until the mixture is creamy. Beat in the eggs and vanilla extract until thoroughly combined. Whisk together 4 cups of flour, the cocoa powder, and baking soda until thoroughly mixed. Then beat the flour mixture into the vegetable shortening mixture in several additions, alternating with the milk. Beat dough just until smooth. Drop dough by tablespoon onto the prepared baking sheets about 2 inches apart, making the cookies as round as possible. And the recipe should yield about 48 cookies. Bake in the preheated oven until the cookies are set in the middle, 15 to 20 minutes. Watch carefully to avoid burning the cookies. Allow cookies to cool for several minutes on baking sheets before removing to finish cooling on racks. And now the best part of a whoopie pie, the marshmallow filling. You're going to need 1 stick of unsalted butter softened, 1 1/4 cup of powdered sugar, 2 cups of marshmallow cream, such as marshmallow fluff, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Beat together butter, confectionery sugar, marshmallow, and vanilla in a bowl with electric mixer at medium speed until smooth, about 3 minutes. All right, that is my chocolate whoopie pie recipe. I am going to make that later on this month on an episode of Baking with Alex Cardinale. That is going to be fun. I can't wait to do that with you guys. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this Q&A. I want to thank you for tuning in, and I hope you learned something today with my perfect cooking pasta tips and my food safety tips. Next month's Ask Chef Alex is going to be Thanksgiving themed since it will take place in November. Submit your questions now. Email them to alexgoyankeescardinale19 at gmail.com. Or you can film a video asking your cooking or baking questions for Thanksgiving. Just simply send that video to my email. And subscribe to my YouTube channel, the legendary Alex Cardinale. I will appreciate your subscription. Make sure to hit the notification button so that you get notified when I go live. Remember, I do baking videos, cooking videos. Now I do the Chef Alex Q&A, and I'll be doing the Chef Alex Reacts pretty soon. Also on Halloween, I will be celebrating Halloween as Sergeant Alex Cardinale, which is going to be my parody of WWE Hall of Famer Sergeant Slaughter. So make sure you tune into that. That's going to be fun Halloween night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in. Stay safe in the kitchen. And I have a special episode coming up this Sunday, a special story time with Chef Alex, a crossover event between my story time series and my cooking show. I'll be talking about when I got burned. So tune into that this Sunday. Thank you guys for tuning in. Peace out and get cooking and baking. Chef Alex saying goodbye for now, and I'll see you in the next video. Sergeant Alex Cardinale here, wishing you a happy and scary Halloween season. Don't forget, maggots, to turn into the 2021 Halloween Bash, hosted by me, Sergeant Alex Cardinale, live on Halloween night, October 31st at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, right here on my YouTube channel, the legendary Alex Cardinale. Be there or be square. And that's in order. Thank you for watching me, Chef Alex in the kitchen. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel for some more cooking and baking videos. Make sure to subscribe to the legendary Alex Cardinale. With that being said, thank you for watching this cooking video. And if you use my recipe, be sure to tell me how it is in the comments. And if you have any cooking or baking questions, post them in the comments as well. Have a great rest of your day, and thank you for watching.